I would like to invite Mr. Odysseus. Please, you are welcome to start the session as you like.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Are you sure you are in the right session? This is customer experience. Strategy is that way, right? Everyone is in the right place. By the way, thank you for the promotion. You made me a global experience officer. I am not a global, I'm a regional, MENA region. It's a pleasure to be here. I don't know if you can guess by my name, but I'm from Greece. You know the country, right? Greece, yes? So about 2,300 years ago, Great Alexander was here, kicking the ass of the Indians. No, he killed King Porus. So he won. So actually, it's my land. So please, I'm settling in. Just you can go somewhere else. I'll just take this land, which is very in fashion now. Going back to this, I spent the day here with all of you, and there were two words that I didn't really hear the people talking about. One was customers, and the other was employees. So no one really talked about this. And I think it's very important to talk about customers. And it has become a very hot topic. It will be nice if I can see the presentation here as well, so I know what I'm talking about instead of doing this. So, too many new words to learn when we talk about customer experience. This is some of them, too many. And it's like a fashion, like business is like fashion. We kept having new words, like ESG a couple of years back. Now it's all about AI. So there are too many words. The bottom line is we need to care about our customers, and that, in theory, will lead us into profitability. I still don't see the presentation. So I'll start with a definition. This was supposed to be a masterclass, by the way, which means like 40 people. I think there are 200, so it's not going to be as interactive as I hope, but now I see myself bigger. I still don't see the presentation. So, what is customer experience? As per the definition of McKinsey, is everything a business or organization does to put customers first, managing their journeys and serving their needs. And that, in theory, is what retail is also all about, because if you don't have customers to serve, then you don't have a business. So is it really so difficult to put? What is the customer experience in this? I just want to see the presentation here, please. So we have a concept in CX that it's called CX maturity, where basically it's a way to understand where your organization is on the journey of becoming a customer-centric organization. So this, while we're waiting, I will tell you another story. So 12 years ago was my first time I came to Pakistan. And since then I come every quarter, but to Islamabad, not to Lahore, because jazz is, I'm working with jazz very often. So back then I applied in your consulate for a 1-year visa. So it was customary at the time to get an interview with the consular. So I went to his office, I sat down, and the first question I was asked was, what do you think about the United States? And then I said, well, our country is also not very fond. We have not been treated well, so I don't like them. Here is your visa, thank you very much. I'm like, okay, great. All right, so this was a funny moment that explains a little bit that sometimes in organizations we have these blind spots when we try to create experiences. This is an example that happened to me when I'm supposed to do a questionnaire survey and then the link didn't work. This is one of my favorites because this was a competitor website. And for them, excellence is a continuous journey. However, it's written, it's misspelled. So it's quite ironic, I guess. All right, so what is CX maturity and how this connects to voice of the customer? So the starting point in any organization, when you go to become more mature, basically what you want to achieve is to have customer centricity. The first, what we call the foundation level, is you are just delivering a service, right? So you try as an organization to deliver a good service, but nothing is really organized or orchestrated under one common theme or strategy. Then the next level is you become a practice. So now you have some principles in the organization, maybe there is a strategy related to CX, and then this is where you start understanding and try to develop a more emotional connection with your customers. And the final stage is leading, which is where really customer experience is part, it's at the core of the organization. Usually here is the person responsible for customer experience reports to the CEO. And then you really understand your customers and you becoming proactive rather than reactive on their needs. So usually an organization starts where I'm now and where I want to be in the future by creating a roadmap. And there is every consultant has a framework. We also have one. More or less the principles are the same. So I'm showing you the one that we use, but it's more or less the same across all organizations. So the first thing is strategy, then it's about understanding the customers, then it's about creating a system of taking the feedback from the customers, then evidence impact means that we have a way to disseminate the knowledge from the customers to the organization through cultural enablement, so everyone is aligned on what it means. ESG recently is also important. I'm not sure if it is here yet, but definitely other parts of the world, ESG is quite important for organizations, and that there is a plan. So that's really what it is. So if we want to define it properly, what you need as an organization to master is you have a plan and strategy, transparent ownership, who is responsible for what, and you deliver this, and this is disseminated in the organization, right? You deliver to the supporting people, you ensure the processes are in place, and you have the right technology to achieve this. The second one is customer understanding. That means you really invest in understanding your customers from needs all the way to, I just went to the store, how was that experience? In order to provide better service, better experiences, better products that fits what their expectations are. The insights ecosystem means how we do that, to really understand, do we deliver in the moments that matter, and how this aligns with the vision that we have in CX and the strategy. The impact is how we demonstrate as an organization within our organization and to the wider business the role that customer experience plays in the business. And in theory, also show the return on the customer experience investment. And then the cultural enablement, it means that everyone in the organization shares the same values, that everyone is engaged in the concept of caring about customers, but in a profitable way. That means that your employees, your frontliners are also aware of what's happening and they are buying into the concept. ESG, as I said, you need to have also, it's coming, if not there yet in Pakistan. And then the future state roadmap means that the plan is not now, you really plan for the future of CX. And by building this, eventually the path to maturity is from a foundation, you become a practice, and then a leading organization. Now, something else, how we talk about experiences. What is the consumption goal is a key question that we have, which is, am I doing something because I want to avoid pain, or am I doing something because I'm seeking pleasure? And this is the emotional component of anything that we want to do. You have the functional, of course, but this is more about the emotional. And then on the other hand, you have, in terms of the time that you spend, right? So you may have a one-off experience with a brand, like going to a retail store, or a short-term experience, let's say going on a vacation, staying in a hotel, or a continuous experience that you may have with your bank or telecoms, etc. So it's interesting to weigh when you create a matrix between is my consumption goal pain avoidance or pleasure seeking, and what type of experience I have. And we see that we can place different experiences. For example, going to the restaurant with your family is a pleasure-seeking activity versus going to a bank or having a bank account, which is usually about avoiding pain. Right? When we deal with banks, actually nobody really wants to deal with a bank. Right? So if you are a bank, it's not a very pleasant place to be compared to if you are a fashion store or retail, which is all about pleasure. This is more about pain relief, and there is about pleasure. So that it's important when you think of how you design your experiences, right? So the emotions that are generated by the people as they visit the stores or a mall. We did some R&D on this specific concept to understand what drives customer experience, what drives the emotional connection, and by studying also how humans form relationships, we came up with these 6 forces of customer experience: enjoyment, belonging, certainty, fair treatment, control, and status. And it's always important to think when you design the experiences, these concepts. So some forces are hygiene factors, others are differentiators. The starting point is the fair treatment. So do I feel as a customer that you are treating me fairly? So for example, if I go to a store and I see the price tag and says 100, but then when I go to pay, I pay 150, that's definitely not what I expect. In telco in Pakistan, for example, one of the key reasons of being unhappy is what they call hidden charges, right? That telcos take the money if you have not a contract, but a prepaid account. So making customers feel that there is a fair exchange, that they are fair with you, is key, is a hygiene factor. The second is about certainty, that the customer is certain what to expect from you as a company, as a brand. That could be the quality, right? You promise a quality, you deliver the quality. The next step, this is the hygiene factors, right? This is what you need to start playing in the game. The next step, if we go, is control. So I feel in control of the situation as a customer. That's important to understand and feeling that I have this control. Next level is status, that you make me feel special. So if I go into a store, I have this different experience, right? How people treat me. Do they pay attention to me as a customer or not? Of course, this is related to what type of experience you want to create. If you are a cheap store, which is nothing wrong about this, you don't necessarily need to do this. But if you're a luxury brand, you may want to offer coffee, have a couch, so it depends on what experience you want to create. This is the added value, right? The relationship builders, as we call them. And then there are 2 more: belonging. That means that we share the same values, and you really make me feel welcome in your stores. And enjoyment. Eventually, my life is easier because I'm interacting with you. And this is the differentiators, where a brand can differentiate and building this emotional connection. And keep in mind that you play in an environment that there are no barriers to exit. Right? So if you are unhappy with your bank, most likely you will not change your bank because you are bored to go and do that. Or even in telcos, you are unhappy and you still keep your SIM card. However, if you are unhappy with a visit in a store, you don't have to go again. So the stakes are higher on how you deal with the experience at a retail store versus being a bank or telcos. So how we actually do that in terms of building the voice of the customer program? When we start this, it's important that it's not only the customers. We need to include employees. We need to ensure that the employees are equipped and committed to what it is to have a customer experience. And the role of HR is critical to train the staff. Then we have the internal metrics, the operational metrics, that I have seen many organizations collect the information but do nothing with it, right? So there is no analysis, no thinking about what does it mean and what are the next steps. So monitor leading indicators for touch points is absolutely a part of the integrated measurement system. Transaction and events, it's, I just visited your store, how was that experience? Journeys is when we have longer experiences. For example, I had to return also a product. That is a longer journey. Or I raised a complaint. And then relationship, which is the overall feeling I have for your brand. So, you asked me at some point in time how I feel about your brand versus competition, which one I prefer to use more or buy more. So that's, the strategic, let's say, metric. And then finally, all this should lead to the financial improvement and performance. That's the whole point. Now, the VOC program usually involves talking to customers, right, and understanding from different sources what they expect. Did we meet the expectations or not? So the way we go about it is first we think what is the level of action we want to take as an organization. Is it tactical or strategic? And then how often we should be receiving feedback from our customers. The most strategic piece of work that we believe an organization should do if you want to start really being customer-centric is to do what we call customer journey mapping exercise. That means you involve your customers and understand how they go about in purchasing, let's say, apparel. And the starting point is not the store. The starting point is from the moment the need is generated. I have gone to many organizations and then I ask them, do you have a customer journey mapping? And they say yes. But what they share is actually the internal process map. I'm not talking about the internal process map. I'm talking about, from a point of view of customer, what are the steps I'm taking to go to complete my journey. This is often linked to a customer needs exploration. That means you really go out in the society and understand the needs of the people, depending, of course, on what you are selling. So if you are a shoe company and you are selling to women, it's important to understand what are the different reasons why women wear shoes and how you talk to them about it, right? So maybe it's a professional woman who wants to build a career, or a young woman who really wants to look, beautiful. So there are all these different things that with this type of research you can understand and start designing the experiences. UX research is critical, especially if you have an online store or you are building an app. A lot of organizations do it internally, and that's not the way. And internally means, someone creates the beta or the 0.1 version and then calls some other employees and say, can you test it? You are already biased because right? It's much better to involve actual customers and ask them how they go about the journey. So that will help you design a much better experience online or on an app. The relationship feedback is what we call the strategic study. This is where ideally the CEO should have their KPI linked to the CX. This is where you go in the market and ask your customers if they are happy with you as a brand and how they feel about competition. And then we see how well you are doing versus your competitors. Other things that a complete VOC program includes is mystery shopping and competitive intelligence. Of course, I want to clarify that mystery shopping means measuring the compliance of your standards. Is not customer satisfaction, right? It's measuring your own standards and the performance of your own standards. And competitive intelligence, it's linked with mystery shopping because you can send shoppers to your competitors and understand how they operate. And then we have what we call transactional or episodic, and this is actually when someone visits the store. And then we can immediately, if we are advanced and have the technology, we can immediately ask their feedback when they exit the store, right? And see, was that a good experience or not? And if they say no, we can even call them, apologize. So the technology exists to achieve that. It's also very important to talk to your employees, the frontliners, because they are the ones dealing with your customers day to day. So they are always a great source of information and ideas. So this is what we call EX-CX. Social media monitoring, it's there. But a lot of organizations use social media monitoring to see the effectiveness of your online campaigns. Here, we're focusing more on customer experience. So what people say about the experiences they had on the store. So usually, social media monitoring is managed by marketing. This is where we want to be managed by CX teams, not marketing. And action planning workshops, if you have issues, The best way to find the solutions is to involve everyone in the organization, different teams, create very good ideas, and action planning workshops actually work. So you need the software. How many of you here, you have heard of the term CXM, Customer Experience Management Software? Very few. It's new, right? Have you heard companies like Medallia or Qualtrics? Is it something that you have heard? Again, very few. So it's very new, I guess, in Pakistan. Do you have CRMs in your business? CRM software? Yeah? How many have a CRM in your business? Okay, more hands, but still less than half. So then the starting point is to have a CRM software. A key challenge in retail is how do I collect information from my customers? Because I may come and you never know who I am. That's why it's important to have loyalty programs, for example, where you can link and collect customer information, and then you will know that they visit the store. The CRM software will absolutely help on this, right? And also you know how many times the customer came to your stores, what did they buy, who they are, and a lot of other important things. So you can tailor your campaigns to their behavior. So that's why you can use a CRM software. CXM software is linked to CRM, and it's a software that you can basically send out surveys, ask your customers if they're happy with the experience or not. And it's one software that allows multiple dashboards. So let's say the frontline team, you may have the call center team. You can use different data collection ways, like exit interviews, SMS, online, WhatsApp, all types of data collection. You can analyze the data on the platform and eventually do the closed loop feedback, which I guess this is also a new term, which basically means if I visited a store and then you send me a survey and I give you a score of 1 out of 5, that means I was not happy. Then a red alert is generated and goes back to the organization, and the organization may decide to call the customer, apologize, offer a discount, or whatever is the... And that's how you build the emotional connection with your customers. So yes, that's what the closed loop feedback is. The survey goes to the customer, they share their feedback. If they are dissatisfied, a red alert is raised in the organization. The team collects the information, you see what the customer has said, and then you can contact them, resolve or apologize depending what the issue is, and then you record. And on the other hand, you collect this information, right? So that's something that when you do it for a period of time, gives you valuable insights of how to improve the experience with the customers. I'll just skip this. This is the data collection methodologies. Exit interviews is probably the best because it means you have an interviewer outside your store, so immediately you can capture what you want to understand. And that's also the only way to understand why people don't shop, right? Because if you have a loyalty program, then it's only those who have shopped from you, not those who didn't. However, it's an expensive methodology, so that is used, let's say, ad hoc basis. You can do telephone interviews, online email survey, SMS using survey links, or you can have QR codes in your store and do it self-completion. So there are many different ways that you can collect customer feedback. Have I convinced you that you need to collect customer feedback or not yet? Yes? Who said? Yes? Okay. However, there are some biases in methodologies. So for example, we know that in online, the scores are always lower because the response rates are low. Telephone, they're a little bit higher. And then, of course, face-to-face, the scores are higher. Why? Because we are humans. So in your face, I may not be that bad. On the phone, I may complain a bit. Online, we all know what's happening online, right? So that's why usually the scores are much worse if you do online surveys. So there is also this way that you can improve, which says that our customer loyalty levels are up considerably since we began closing accounts of complaining customers. Right? So then, of course, your scores go up because you don't have those who complain. All right, I just want to focus a little bit on the concept of the journey because I know it's also new to you. So a typical journey, let's say for a fashion retail store, does not start in the store. It starts when someone has a need. I need to buy new pants. I want to see what's new in fashion. Whatever is the reason, that we need to know actually what is the reason, it starts there. And then it's about knowing your brand. So this is where you do brand campaigns, right? So people understand who are you, what the brand stands for. Are you a premium or a, low price brand? Where you compete, what do you stand for? Then you, because of this, they consider you, and then they go to the store. There you have the in-store experience, which I will cover in the next slide. And then they make the decision, they go through the purchase, and then they pay, right? Whatever is this way. And it doesn't end there, because you have the after-sales journey, which is, let's say I want to return an item, or I'm talking positively about you, or next time I will come again with you, or if you still maybe have my details and you send me some promotions, offers that you have. So it's not just the store. And this is an example. I'm not going to read everything, but this is how we will go about doing this exercise. So if we say the first part, what touch points are touched by a customer, it's social media ads, billboards, word of mouth, magazines. And then what people think, things like, I need some new clothes, or I saw this outfit, looks great, let me go and try it. And then the actions of the customer is browsing social media, noticing ads, discussing fashion with friends. So by doing this across with the customers, we also identify pain points and where you need to improve as an organization. If we talk about the in-store experience, it's, again, a lot of many different things that affect. You have the layout, right? Is it really how a customer will go about? Have you been to a IKEA store? You see, they kind of make it mandatory to go through the whole experience. Supermarkets are all like this for some reason. So how you have a layout is critical on the choice customers make on the store. The wayfinding, right? If it's a big store, how you can really find the fitting rooms, for example. The visual merchandising, how you display the items. All these are very important. Window display, which I don't have here, but window display, right? So what attracts the customer in the store? Then is the product, the availability, variety, quality, style. All these play a big part of the experience. The price of promotions, value for money, if the promotion is relevant to the customer. The behavior of the staff, availability first, is someone around to help me, how they communicate, what they know about the things I ask. The fitting rooms, if it's again talk about apparel, availability, space, elements, privacy. We had a recent, last year we did a big program with one of the large brands, multi-brand companies in Saudi Arabia. And although I've been going to Saudi for many years, only last year I found out that in women's stores in Saudi, they had no fitting rooms. So if a woman buy clothes, they had to go into the mall where is the prayer room, try the clothes. If they don't fit, they had to go and return them. So that's how it was, for example, in Saudi. Now it's not like this anymore. So how a fitting room is designed, right? Is it easy for me to change the clothes and see how I look with the clothes? Or is it too space, too small? All these play a very important role in the experience that you create. And then the checkout counter. Is it a huge line? Is it not a line? Do you have all opportunities for me to pay the way I want? How you handle the products? All of these, you see, it's not a simple thing. It's quite complicated to understand how you can improve in each step of the journey. We have done some work with these brands and some others in KSA and UAE, and we have identified what on average drives the satisfaction at the store. So the very basic is the product. So if, let's say, I loved something, I love the shoes, but you don't have my size, then I'm not, it didn't work. Then it's about the price of promotions. then the store layout, then the staff, the fitting rooms, and finally the checkout. So this is, let's say, the order of what matters to customers. The order, by the way, can change depending on what is your business, right? This is fashion apparel again. And then from an emotional point of view, what really came on top as the most important factor of satisfaction is making your customers feel special, and then being an joyous experience. Then is about certainty, fair treatment, and control is the list. So when you know these things, you can start thinking of how to train your employees, how to talk, to ensure that the experience is closer to how customers expect it to be. However, I want to give you this example, which, because what we say as well is that if you want to have 100% satisfied customers, you will go out of business, because it's really expensive to make everyone happy, right? So I want to give you this example. I don't know if it holds in Pakistan, but definitely this is a case in GCC. So in the past, if you wanted to go and service your car, if it wants to work, no. Can someone? Okay. Oh, so let's say you need to service your car. So you go to the center, and your expectation is that they will service your car at the time they promised to do it. Now, when you go to collect your car, you see that they have washed it as well. Is that the case in Pakistan? If you go to service your cars, do they wash them also? No? Yes? He must have an expensive car. But it wasn't the case. Back in the day, it was not, you didn't expect that they will also wash the car. But so now I'm happy, right? So my car is serviced on time and they also wash it. Ah, great. But then this is something that it's very easy to copy, right? So now everyone does it. So that now it's not a delight factor. It's not something new. Now actually it has become an expectation. And now if the car is not washed properly, you are upset and unhappy, right? So basically what the industry has done, car wash becomes a hygiene factor, and now the cost is higher for everyone and nobody benefits, because it's costly to have people washing cars, right? So it's important, you are looking at me, you get my point, right? That it's important to think what you are offering to stand out, because if easily copied, then you just increase everybody's cost and you are back in square one. So, we have some, what time, how, do we have time? Only 10 minutes? Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you a case study, a quick case study, how we did it with an organization. This is actually an online gaming. I know that it's not allowed in this country, but please bear with me. I know that you love cricket, for example. Imagine if you could bet on it as well, right? So this was a company that has online gaming. Now, today, they are in 16 countries. They are sponsors of big football, like UEFA, Euro, Champions League. They had about 13 million customers across 16 countries and about 2,300 employees. So as they were growing as an organization, they realized that they are growing so fast. Basically, they were opening business in 3 markets per year. That's how fast they will go. They realized that they don't really have a customer feedback system, right? So they asked, can you help us build it? So they were doing bits and pieces. So the way you do it, in this case, is first, we understand the business, right? So how you are operating. We did interviews with the internal stakeholders to understand, first of all, the actual business, because it was also new for us, how online gaming works. And then we reviewed what they measure so far, and then we delivered a redesigned program. So the customer journey for them, high level, means that I want to register. I go online because it's online. They have also an app. So I need to complete a registration form. Then there is an OTP verification. Then I have to put money in the account, and then I need to upload KYC. Are you familiar with the term KYC? It's mandatory for banks. And for them, because of the regulation globally, this was the biggest pain point, and it was not their fault. Because you need to upload your ID, you need to show that you have money, it's a pain. And then there's the actual experience, right? So you play bets, you play casino. If you win, you can always withdraw your money from the account. Then they have promotions and offers. You can actually create your own bet. For example, okay, I will not say that. You can create your own bet, and then you can manage your account, change your address, etc. Finally, you have the support journey. So I have an issue, so I need your help, call centers, chats, web chats, etc. And finally, I'm leaving. So that was basically the business. And from understanding this, we identified where were the information gaps from them. So the only thing they were doing in the onboarding process, which for a business is very critical because that's where someone becomes your customer, right? You need to attract them. So they never had the feedback on that. They never really had the feedback on what was that experience from the customers. Also, they didn't know why customers will drop out. So they will not complete this process. For the experience survey, they just had one question, not even asking why, which is not very, doesn't give you much if you just ask, would you recommend, and then you don't even ask why. And nothing else. So it wasn't clear, were people happy with the layout, were they happy with the actual product, nothing on that. For the support, they did have some surveys. Let's say you call the call center, they will ask you how you are about it. And then they had no measurement for people who stopped being their customers, which is also key. It's interesting to see for organizations like this that they forget those who left. But it's critical to ask them why they're leaving, because that feeds your business to improve the business. The same goes for employees, right? So exit interviews with employees are a valuable source to understand what happens in the organization. So we revamped the program. We designed new surveys for them, like the ones you see here. And then we said also, what is the strategic, who should be responsible, what are the key metrics, and what are the tactical journeys, and who should be responsible accordingly. This became, of course, part of the organization, right, of the structure. We summarized exactly what is the objective, what is the KPI, what is the reporting, and what is the actionability of each one. This is an example of how it works. So let's say you visited, you download, you didn't register, then you receive a survey. Or you didn't complete the registration form, again, you receive a survey. So that's how it works. This is an example of what we call a transactional. Let's say you call a call center, then there's a follow-up. Did you call us? For what reason? Did we manage to achieve the reason of your call, if you're happy or not? So that's basically how it's done. Now imagine in a much larger scale when we talk about the business that you manage. So this is a very funny cartoon that says, we need to do something so innovative that no brand has ever done anything like it. Then the guys come up with their idea, and the boss says, well, it seems risky. Can you give me examples of others who have done it? And you see the absurdity, you're laughing, right? So that's my take for you. I think you should take the risk to invest in customer experience. If you don't do it, your competitors will, and someone will be on top on that. Yeah, the Zulander moments, we didn't see the video, but it happens. We all have these moments. And if you cannot measure it, you cannot manage it. So that's it for the masterclass. I have another session, which was supposed to be the first one, later. Thank you very much. Questions? Sure. Why I don't have 10 cameras? In the morning, there were like 20 cameras, journalists. What is this? Huh? If I try to be the mayor of the governor of Punjab, I may have some, right? Sorry?
Thank you very much. It was very impressive, and there was a lot of learnings and insight. My question is that how is it possible to identify and to measure the customer's expectation with the minimum lowest cost? Because here in Pakistan, the businesses are quite cost conscious. So they want to get the information, they want to build something on the consumer or customer experience,
Yes.
but due to not having the adequate information about the consumers or customers, they're not doing it. And how we can cost effectively obtain customer insights?
Well, in the other presentation, I have it with big letters, which is create loyalty programs, because that gives you the opportunity to collect customer information. And it works because it's a marketing tool, and also because you can use it to contact your customers and ask them about their experience. So that's the key way. The other way, actually, research is not that expensive in Pakistan, like many other things. So you can still do it, I think, with a cost that it's digestible for sure. And there is a value, a return on this cost.
The other question I had in mind here, can you see me? Yeah. So you mentioned that the base infrastructure that is most important right now is to implement the CRM.
Yes.
So if there is a CRM implemented, only then you think we should be doing the surveys?
No. You can still do it.
So why do we
but
need the CRM for this part?
The CRM is basically a system that collects information for the customer. So you will know, so together with a loyalty program, you will know that it's you. You have been 5 times in the store, bought these items. So now I know what is your taste, and I can send you also an offer tailored to your needs. And at the same time, I can send you a survey and ask you, how was the experience?
But we should still, because that's a complicated method, right?
Well,
implementing a CRM might take time. We can start
The
the
other
service
way,
right away.
yeah, the other way is exit interviews, but that's also expensive because that means you have people outside interviewing and intercepting your customers.
Or maybe just a simple power app for that particular
Sorry?
survey. We can make a small app for that
Yes,
survey only.
yes. You can have, for
course, it will
example, a
be
QR
digital.
code, right? The only trouble there is that you have no control of who participates. So it's not really representative of what's happening. It's very likely that the unhappy customers will do it, and customers who had a good time will not. So then it's not, so it becomes a very tactical metric only to solve issues and not to consider this is what my customers say. And this is the little things that affect how you measure and what you do with the outcome.
But for the retail business, specifically the sector you mentioned, there is no other way apart other than programs of loyalty to collect data?
Like, I mean, you
I'm
need to measure, there are
I'm
two ways.
asking
right?
you, I don't know myself. Yeah, so
So-
I'm just asking you that apart from loyalty programs, there is no other apparent way.
You can still collect their information at the store. I think some stores ask about your name, email, or telephone number while you are buying, but there must be some
Insight.
benefit,
Yeah,
right?
benefit.
Why would I care to give you my information if I don't have a benefit?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you start you may start that simple, but eventually that should become a proper loyalty program that serves all these purposes, right? Marketing, understanding customers, tailor-made offers, and eventually loyalty and growth.
Thank you.
Sure. By the way, there are other methodologies, but depends on what business. For example, if you are a chain that has all over Pakistan, even telephone surveys can work. If you are a very high brand, let's say high value brand, you can try online in general, because it's not representative of Pakistan, but it could be representative of your target group. So there are other ways, but the objective is different. So if you want to know what happens in the store, you need to ask them like very close to when the visit happened, right?
Okay, good afternoon. I think it was a great presentation, and though we are experiencing this thing, the user experience, the customer experience here, but more into the, you can say a bit piece here and there, but you have given a more structured, a strategic aspect as well as the tactical and the formation. My question is about from your personal experience of dealing with organizations in Middle East, in Asia, how do you see now in the last 5 years the KPIs of customer experience appearing with a heavy weightage in the top team of an organization? And when I say top team, like president and senior vice presidents, not the brand managers or that. Is there a serious weightage towards that, or still they see this is an activity which is going to be managed by a marketing research company, and
No.
at the end of a year they will get a report and a tick in the box?
No. It's, I think the last 10 years, it has gained more and more growth. More and more organizations create these positions. And if you see the evolution, in the past we will call it service quality. Then it became customer service. Then we changed the name to customer care. And then it became customer experience. But customer experience is a strategic topic. Customer care is a tactical topic. So then the people who do that started going up the ladder. So most organizations right now, the CX team could be most likely under the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, but the bigger ones, they have a CXO position, Chief Experience Officer, and they report directly to the CEO, separate from marketing. And their job is to ensure that the strategy of customer experience is performed and disseminated and absorbed across the organization. That's the role of customer experience team.
Yeah, because when my personal experience in Pakistan, one of the maybe top 3 banks is that having a relationship with them for the last 15 years. But when I felt, you can say, customer experience, user experience breakdown on the floor of a branch, I asked for how to lodge some, not a complaint, but a suggestion to improve the service quality level. When I asked for, what's the method, first of all, there was no digital method. They say you can go to the website and lodge something over there. And if I said there is something over there, they brought a register which is being signed by the security guard of that, and there were complaints written with the ballpoint over there, which I think nobody reads. We call here the railway guard, the approach. And I'm talking about a top 3 banks. But then I've seen also smaller organizations more onto the service side. They are even more conscious about customer user and the overall experience rather than the service in itself. Because service in itself, you can differentiate to an extent. It can be copied, you know that. Sure. But that's the user experience sometimes is a skill which probably cannot be copied so easily, because that's where the human psychology and the whole attitude and experience comes. So this is my personal.
Believe me, most organizations are still not getting it fully right. So the experience you have is not news to me. It's very common that systems don't work, they don't talk to each other, and therefore you have this type of experiences. But it's coming, right? It's part. It's like, for me, it's like saying 30 years ago, we don't need computers in our office.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other question? It's up to you. Thank you.